Technology wants to work when it does, and then when it doesn't, it's like, why aren't you working? Hey, we're live. Okay, cool. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I got to get a nap, and I had a nap in the. First of all, kudos to anybody who can just be up all day and not take a nap. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's getting rough.
I don't know how you do it. Do you take naps during the day?
Once in a while, yeah. If
Once in
it's
a while.
if it's my day off, and like sometimes I'll hit this sweet spot where it's been a little more messed up now because of like the school schedules and everything. But like sometimes there's a sweet spot where I'll have an hour, like in between where my youngest daughter takes a nap and my youngest son is at preschool. That's like the sweet spot. Like before I got to pick him up, he only goes to preschool for like 2.5 hours. So that sweet spot right there. If I can catch a nap in there, it's real good.
I have to have a nap like regularly. It's more rare that I don't get a nap, but then I'm also single, so I don't have to worry about like kids and pickups, drop offs, all that kind of stuff.
I
Dinner,
feel like I
because
need a nap every day. Like if I
see,
can
and
nap
that's what's so
every day,
good. You get to get a nap and not have to worry about anything else of what's going on. So I try to at least get like a 20 to 30-minute nap. I'll be straight.
yeah, yeah. That'd be
Straight.
the
Who
bed
kudos to
feels
y'all.
better in the afternoon too. Like if I crawl into bed at like 1 p.m., it feels phenomenal. Like the bed is just comfy and cozy. Like it's so much better than it is at nighttime. I don't know what it is about like getting in bed in the afternoon. It's just like I'm like, yeah, that's my jam. Like it's so much easier to get like in that perfect like comfort spot where you're like I can pass out right now.
Yes. Oh, I for those who just pull like all day shifts of life, you're just up for 18 hours a day.
Yeah, that's me
I don't
most
I
days.
don't I don't get it. I don't envy you at all. I really don't want to be like you at all.
I envy you.
Um I just you're just up.
Yeah.
I don't fault you if you need coffee or not. Coffee doesn't really do anything for me. But just being up all day, no naps.
Yeah, I wake up at about 6:45 with the kids,
Oh
and
no.
I go to bed at like midnight. So
Oh.
every,
Oh.
every day.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh no. I wake
I'm
up at a
getting older to the
smooth.
point where like I need to stop staying up till midnight. But like that's where my life exists between like 8 p.m. and midnight. Like that's where I get stuff done.
So wait, so not only do you stay up all day, but you also get up super early in the morning to go to bed at midnight.
Yeah, well,
Um
yeah, I got to get up when the kids wake up, make breakfast, get them ready for school. I'm a domesticated man. I'm do it all. I flip pancakes. I do everything. I pack lunch.
Listen,
All that. I
breakfast for
drive my
me.
kids to school. All that.
You and so well you still work out of your house. You don't work at home.
No, I don't work. Yeah, so I have a job
Okay.
within that.
So yeah, see, I can work at home. And when I go on my break, like I can curl up right here in my papa sign or go lay in the bed. It just I am a resting creature. Oh, it feels amazing. But
It's
I
hard
want
to
to know,
fight laziness. It is
huh?
hard. It's hard to fight laziness. Like I will if left to my own devices, I will sit here and do nothing.
It's the thing. I get stuff done. I do get things done. Maybe not in. I have to wait until inspiration strikes, which is around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning,
Oh, really?
and 2 or 3 between 2 and 4, 2 a.m. 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. I get more done than an 8-hour shift at work.
Yeah, I have
I
days like
mean,
that. Never
I
in the morning.
get regularly. That's my 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. is my sweet spot where I can get up, I can write, I can plan, I'll send out emails. I try to delay, like schedule the emails to be sent so that I don't look like a crazy person trying to send everybody emails at 4 a.m. I try to, it's just, but the daytime, I'm not very, it's just like I'm tired all day. And then by the time it's ready to go to bed, I'm ready to go to bed at 10, 11 o'clock. I'm like, oh, I still got stuff to do.
My
I
whole
still have stuff that I want to do.
When I was like a like preteen and teen and up until like my young adult years, I would have trouble sleeping once in a while. Like it was worse, and then it got easier and easier. And ever since I've had kids, I sleep like a friggin' baby. Like you just
They siphon all your energy.
You're like, oh yeah, now it's time for bed. Like I used to have so much anxiety of like worrying about like if it was Sunday night going back to school the next day, I'd always have like a horrible time sleeping on Sundays and stuff like that. Now, none of that. If anything, I'm fighting sleep to stay awake longer.
See, man, sleep is good. But thank you everybody for tuning in to another recap of Take a Space podcast. I am your host, Leah, and we are joined this week by Josh of 4 Nerds by Nerds. Hello and welcome.
Hi.
This week's episode was a really, really good one. I enjoyed having the conversation with you because not only did we get to record my show, but we got to record a little bit as a spotlight for your show, which was a really, really good conversation. I was really happy to hear about how, I was happy to see that there were a lot of different light bulbs that were going on for you and a lot of different ways we are able to use different conversations to help inspire people. So I was really happy to be a part of your show for that. My burning question is, what happened with your manager?
Nothing at all.
Status is still the same.
Yeah, still holding true to that. Yeah, she is. The only thing that has changed is now she does what I said she would do. She ignores me completely, as like I did something wrong when she took
Don't call me out. I'm not gonna. Yeah, no, I can't stand that. Hey Denise. Hey girl. Thanks for coming in. So I just don't get people who have the boldness to do something wrong and then get mad that you call them out on it. And then because they won't let you won't let them disrespect you. And now they're mad at you for having boundaries and calling them out on their stuff because, you stole from me or you did this to me. And all I'm asking you to do is make it right. That's it. Like, you're not asking them to move mountains. You're not asking them to write a report. You're not, look, just all I want you to do is just make it right.
Yeah, it's crazy when people act like, oh, well, there's two sides to every story. And it's like, not in this type of situation. Like people will, they will hang their hat and hold their ground. Like it's like, well, you're just not seeing it from my perspective. And it's like, no, there is no other perspective. You did this wrong and you should apologize and fix the situation. Like that happens in, millions of different situations. I see people do it all the time. Like, can you believe this person is mad at me? I'm like, yeah,
I can actually believe that. Yes, because I side with them, but you weren't there. You don't understand my side. Okay, well, how do you have a side?
Yeah.
How do you have a side of the story?
With my girlfriend, and it's like, well, you don't see it from my point of view. It's like there is no point of view. You slept with that person's girlfriend.
So I feel like when people try to do that, they try to make it a thing of, well, no, I'm the victim here. Like they came and yelled at me. They came and called me out. They came and did XYZ. And I'm just like, what are you? Are you really? Are you the victim? Like I forgot the guy's name. He is in Congress and he made a statement about how Ron somebody, I forgot his name. He was just on the news a couple nights ago. And
Hello, that name sounds familiar.
Oh, I can't remember his. I really can't remember his last name. Oh no, I really can't remember it. So essentially, he made the statement that the insurrectionists on January 6th, he was not afraid of them because they were just trying to uphold. They were just trying to uphold the Constitution, all this kind of things, right? And then said, but on the flip side, if this had been a Black Lives Matter or Antifa protest, then I would fear for my life. But then he gets on he gets on this backlash because it's like, okay, that was a racist comment. He's like, I'm not racist. How could anybody see? But you don't you don't understand. Like now you guys are calling me racist, and now I feel victimized and blah. And I was like, okay, what? What?
Yeah.
How?
That's insane.
How? How did you? Okay, what?
I know
And his
people
thing,
like that will always be like, "Oh, you're twisting my words." I'm like, "Well, that's pretty black and white. Like, there's not a
exactly.
lot of layers to that."
His excuse was that there's plenty of white people in Black Lives Matter, and I was like, really? Are there? You sure?
Yeah, I have a feeling by the way you say that, those aren't the people you're going to be scared of.
Right, exactly. And I'm just like, you can't say these things or feel this way and then say, but wait. You don't know my side. No, your side is you said something very racist. In your case, no, you stole from me. Those are mine.
Yeah.
I don't know why you felt entitled as a person on salary to take somebody else's money. If you're having financial troubles, there's Sixers that can help you out.
Well, I think there are just these like group of people that they. I mean, it has to be like a level of being like a sociopath because like they will just convince themselves that they're not wrong.
Yeah.
Like they will not see any sort of situation, and it's like they literally don't see it. They're not even like actively just being like, "Oh, I'll play the part and I'll act it up." Like their brain just immediately goes to, "Well, I couldn't have done anything wrong. I couldn't. I didn't do anything wrong. Why would I? Why would me, this great person, ever do something like that?" Because you did it. Like, because it happened. Because that's reality. Like I'll never understand the minds of people like that because
I don't get
they won't even have a conversation to explain it to you. Like if you said that to them, if you're like, "Oh, you're a person that just doesn't think you ever do anything wrong," they would immediately go on that exact same bandwagon of "I'm a victim." And how dare you say something like that?
Why would you say that about I am the least racist person, and I want people to stop saying that. Just because you are the least racist person, you're still racist, buddy.
Yeah,
You
what
still,
does that even mean?
I need you to
You're either
understand that that's
racist
still a
or you're
bad thing.
like,
Oh my gosh. Hi, Janai. Hey, Bob. He says it's Ron Johnson of Wisconsin. That is right. He's Wisconsin. Yeah, that's who that guy is. For some reason, I couldn't, even though we share a last name, I couldn't think of what his name was. It's just, that guy. I don't even understand how I don't understand.
well,
I
like
don't
we talked about
understand.
in the episode, like I don't like following politics. I don't like doing any of this stuff, and it's for like that exact reason. That's why I don't know who this person is, because it's like I don't want to fill my life with all these idiots. You know what I mean? Like I don't want you people to even exist. Like you just all you do is ruin our lives and then act like it's kind of like professional athletes. You're getting paid this huge amount of money to play a sport, to have fun. And that's kind of how like politicians treat it. It's like they're just having fun with our lives. Like they just casually go to work and like screw everything up or be awful people who make horrible decisions behind the curtain. And then when they get called out on it, they act like, "Well, what do you mean? Like this isn't a big deal. I'm just a person." And it's like, no, like you are responsible for the way this country runs. You are responsible for the care
Am
and
I?
well-being of
What?
millions of people. Like that, the casual manner at which these people are so flippant to act like these things aren't a big deal. It infuriates me so much that I'd rather just not even not like I like the things that I like. I don't want to be involved in all this awfulness. Like, it's like so like depressing.
It is, and it can be frustrating. Hey Jocelyn, hey Dad. I think that that's what causes apathy in, especially when we have people who are in power, who are supposed to be serving us in the greater community, and they don't do what they're supposed to do, or they say things that are not that should not get a pass. Like, we should be actively condemning people for, or at least allowing them the time to correct. Like, hey, what you said was not right, and if that's what you believe, you don't need to service this community.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, they feel emboldened to say these things because it's not based on race. It's not based on economic status. It's not based on social status, or whatever the case may, whatever else they try to put on it. But all this back and forth does cause that kind of apathy that happens with people like you, the voters, who have the opportunity to vote people in. And when we get apathetic people like, I'm not going to vote, I don't want to participate, I don't know who these people are, and it's very daunting to try to stay on board with everyone, or to try to stay aware of what's going on. But I would encourage you to just at least know who your local people are, and then that way you could start having at least those bricklayer understandings of that good foundation of like, okay, these are how things are working in my state. These are how things are working in my city. So that when you do have people up for the school board, or you have people up for the mayor's office, or you have, because you have kids, you want to make sure your kids can eat well, they have good funding and all that kind of stuff. And that's what you vote for.
Well, I live in a very different state too for a lot of the countries, because I live in New Hampshire, where there's no sales tax here.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that stuff is like structured different. Like, and a lot of things are just very different to the way like the rest of the country is. Like, our liquor stores are all state ran. Like, every single liquor store, like, they don't sell liquor in the grocery store. You have to go to the liquor store to buy liquor. It is New Hampshire liquor.
I think that's the East Coast for the most part, to be honest with you. And so I think that I think it's weird after I left the West Coast that you have to go to an actual liquor store, like a state store or like a package store, to get liquor. That's a weird thing.
You can buy like beer and wine at the grocery store and stuff, but
in California, in Washington State, I can go to Rite Aid.
Yeah,
I can go to the grocery store.
In Maine and Massachusetts, you can just go to the grocery store and it's there.
It's just liquor galore. That's just weird for me. But
and it's paying too. Like, if you're a realtor in New Hampshire and you want to sell alcohol, you have to. Everything goes through the state. Like, so your distribution, your licensing, all of that, like, you have to go through the state. All these extreme, like, we used to serve beer at work, and our liquor license expired, so we were just like, this is a good time to stop. Like, screw this. Like, it's such a pain.
That is,
but it's all like this stuff. Like, that's why, like, to speak to what you're saying, it is important to like pay attention to local stuff, because like because we don't have sales tax, everything else is high. If I want to buy a house, property tax is so much higher here than it is in a lot of other states, because
really
they make up for it somewhere. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Registering my car, like, our neighboring state, Vermont, which is literally the shape of New Hampshire, just upside down, that hugs us. Any car, any make, any model there is like $30 a year to register. Here, it depends on what town you live in, how new your car is, how many doors it has, what color it is, what the engine is, blah, 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 blah. My car was $280 to register last year. We bought an SUV to fit all the kids into. That the first year was like $425 to register for the year. Like,
this is per year?
Yeah, per year. Yeah. And that's how they get you. That's how they make up for all that money. In our capital, Concord, we have a right after Concord, in the town called Hooksett, there's a toll and that toll's been there my entire life. And I didn't know until I was like 21 that tolls are meant to be temporary. Like tolls go up and down in a lot of states. Like they'll set them up and then they'll get enough money. They'll raise money to fix the part of the highway or whatever they're trying to raise, and they'll take the toll down. This toll has been there since the highway was built. Like it is just there to generate money for the state. It has nothing to do with fixing the highway, like any of that. Like it's just.
They're like, no, we're gonna keep this. That's what I've seen on the East Coast mostly. I know on the West Coast, well, in California, we have certain like tollways, like for the bridge and whatnot, but not just like regular highways like here in North Carolina or even in Florida or New York. It's just like, yeah, if you want to take this freeway on the expressway, you pay this toll.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's oogie. I don't pretend to know about it, but I know that when I hear about states that don't have sales tax, it makes me wonder, where do they make up that money? And so people, even though there's no state tax in Texas, they make up for it in property taxes. And so it's kind of interesting how people are flocking to certain areas to avoid certain things, but end up paying for it, somewhere else.
And there's still on like other things. Like there's like, it always annoys me when I go to another state and tax isn't included in like the advertised price. It'll be like, oh, Coca-Cola is like $2.09, and then you bring it to the counter and it's like $2.45 or whatever. And I'm like, just advertise it with the like I have to pay with the tax included, so just put it in the price. Because it's like milk and cigarettes and gas and all that has tax rate included in the price. Like, why wouldn't you advertise that with it? Like, you have to pay it.
Yeah. I personally, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would, that's interesting because a lot of like people from other countries will come in and say the same thing. It's like, why is it always surprising when you get to the register? Like you get your stuff, you're like, oh, the price is $2.09 and the price is $5.06, and you go to the register and why am I paying almost $10? I thought the price was no, it's not the same. And so that's one thing that they say. Hey Joshua, that's the thing that they say that they notice when they do come here. So I think that's one thing that I still don't understand. Why do I have to play guess the price every time I pick up items? Yeah. I know there's a tax associated. Just tell me what it is.
Yeah,
because tell me what it is.
Federally mandated and not state controlled are already included in the price.
Yeah, let's just make it easy on me. Let's make it easy on me. I don't want to have to guess if I have enough money to go to the register. Okay. Our first question of the night is, how do you ensure that you are represented at work or anywhere else locally? So this could be at work, at church, in your community group, whatever you're a part of. If you are a part of a fencing group, or you're part of a book club, or whatever it is you do, a part of a parent group, if you have enough time to be a parent, to be in a parent group, how do you make sure that you are represented?
And what do you mean by represented?
So to make sure that your needs are met.
Okay.
Or that you're, even if you're not able to say something, how do you make sure that that thing that you're concerned about is going to be taken care of in a way that would benefit you?
Yeah. Yeah, life has been so busy. I'm not really involved in any like local stuff. So at work, it really is, you just have to do it. You have to step up, and if you have a problem, you have to handle it and address it. And look, because no one's gonna do it for you. Like nobody cares. So if you feel disrespected, or if you feel like someone's not doing their job, or your boss is not listening to anything, you just have to speak up. And I know people probably listening to this, it is hard. Like it's not easy. It's not easy to be confrontational, because that is like the world we live in now. Everything just seems to turn into a confrontation, even if you're coming from the most genuine place, or like this issue with work, when you're coming from the most like righteous place of you literally have done nothing wrong. And I was nice as pie about that. I was like, I don't think it's nice that you did this. Like, it wasn't like, hey, you stole my money, give it back to me. Like, I didn't come at it from like a confrontational standpoint, but that's what it turns into. And I am a very non-confrontational person, and it is hard, and it like builds on my anxiety, because a lot of people can, like, I'm not a very like, for someone who does a podcast in real life, I'm not like a very talkative person unless I like know you, or unless you seem nice. Like, a lot of people like just they're off-putting, or they put out bad energy or whatever, and I'm just like, no. And I am very good at reading people to the point where I'm like, I don't want to be involved with you.
I'm not going to engage with you at all.
Yeah. So a lot of people take that as like, oh, Josh is mean, Josh is unfriendly, and it's like, no, I'm here to work, so I'm sticking to my task, and I'm actually working. So if you do have a problem and you are in a situation like me where people do think about you like that, when you address a situation, it immediately goes to, he's angry, he's going to freak out, he's going to do this and that. And it's like, I've done nothing of any of sort of this. All I've done is just kept my nose down and done my job the way I'm supposed to. Like, that doesn't make me mean. Like, the ability people have to kind of project an image onto you.
Yeah.
And then you get stuck with it, whether you did anything to bolster it or shake it off or whatever. You know, it's just, it makes it hard, because, and I feel like people do that so that if you have a problem and it is against someone in power, they'll be like, oh, see, I told all of you he would react like this, or he's upset, you know what I mean? And it's so weird, and it's so odd, and it's just kind of one of those things that that's what happens when you're forced to work or interact with immature people.
I think that's very true, because what I want people to know is that especially when projecting images of someone. So if someone has a vibe, a feeling, or whatever it is, right? They'll say, oh, if they say Josh is friendly, right? They'll look for you to be friendly. But if they'll say Leah is mean or whatever, they'll look for things for things that represent me being mean. And whether it's actually me being mean or me being firm and whatever I think or say or do, oh, see that, I told you, I knew it. And it's like, that's exactly what they were looking for. That's what they were assuming. That's the image that they were projecting of me. And I know, especially now, that I don't have to cater to their projections. They can feel, because they're going to feel how they want to feel anyway. So if they want to assume me to be whatever without getting to know me, then that's more of a them problem and not a me problem. Because like you said, if you just come in, put your head down, get your work done, go home, your work gets done, you know, whatever the case may be. And just because you don't want to be a part of a clique, or does not mean that you don't want to be a team player. You just refuse to deal with people who want to force this type of image on you or whatever. And so that, I mean, that's typically how I think about it. And even though you're not confrontational, because I know a lot of people who are not confrontational at all, being confrontational is a form of communication.
Yeah.
It is. It's just a form of communication. Confrontation is going to happen, whether it ends in a fist fight or ends in a drink. It could very well end like amicably. Like it's just the way in which you communicate with another person, and because they don't like or they disagree with you, that can cause confrontation, but that confrontation can be necessary in order for that relationship to grow. Janai says, I ensure I get my name out there the way I want it to be through my performance and quality of work. And that's good because depending on how your work is, which, because you're my sister, I know you do good work. Depending on how your work is, your management knowing your name can have a thought of, well, I actually like the way this person works, or how they do their job and the team that they've worked on, the projects that they've done. I really want their opinion on X.
Yeah.
And leadership could actually seek you out and say, hey, tell us what you think about this. And that's one way to absolutely be represented, to make sure that when decisions are made, they think of people like you. Okay, how is this going to help or hurt or whatever the case may be?
Yeah,
So
that's how it's my old job, because like I used to work at Walmart, and there's so many more people and that's the mindset I had working there, is that you want to work so well that like your work speaks for itself and you are looked at like, and it is kind of like competitive in that way, where you're like, I want to be the best worker. Like now I work with so few people, like there's only like 10 people that work in my entire restaurant. Like it's,
oh wow, that's
yeah, like I don't need to do anything to shine. I just go to work and do my job, and like I'm there. Everyone knows me.
No, I'm just coming in to get the work done, you know. Yeah. I personally, I am the type of person to speak up. I am the type of person to make it known. So if there is something, especially something that's negatively impacting me, I will let it be known. But even if it's not negatively impacting me, I like to make sure that management considers how, because I work in finance, and in finance, there are constant policy changes. When you work for a financial institution, you'll constantly get updates via email. Hey, we're changing this, we're doing this, et cetera, et cetera. And as those changes occur, I talk specifically because management only sees it from a high level most of the time. And from a lower level, when we get into the weeds, I like to say, okay, I know you want us to do this, but I don't think we fully considered how this is going to impact our coursework, our alerts, calls, or cases that we have to work. Have we considered X? Have we tried this? What does this look like? And sometimes they have seen it. A lot of times they haven't. So I try to make sure that I'm at least present enough to make those needs and wants heard. So if there's something that could fix it, because a lot of times what I tend to offer in my teams, other people think it, but don't say it. Yeah. They're like, oh, I'm so glad you said this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, we're waiting for Jesus to come back. Like, you need to be able to speak up and say that you need these things.
Well, a lot of people are yes men too. Like they're just there to kind of get a check, and they're like, you know, they're a butt kisser or whatever. Like, and they think how they're going to get ahead is just agreeing and making themselves, and it works. And that's the sad thing, is it does work. My boss now is where she is because all she did was be a kiss ass, basically. Like she would suck up the management when they'd come in for like meetings and stuff like that. And it's like, and I will never understand how people are like blind to that. I always want to ask like high level managers, like, did you work like as I work now? Did you start at the bottom? Like, because there's no way if you were at the bottom that you would fall for this. So why do you fall for it now that you're up high? Like, if I was in his position and I saw someone acting like that, I'd be like, you're just trying to suck up to me. Like, you're not. Like, the manager we had before, she was great and everyone loved her, but she did kind of act like everybody was great, especially if like she liked football, and if you could talk about football, she'd think you were great. And I'm like, no, this person sucks. Like, just because they like football, that does not make them a good employee. Just because someone puts on a smile and laughs at your jokes does not mean they're a good worker, does not mean that they are active. It doesn't make them not lazy. Like, people's inability to like see through bullcrap drives me insane, because it's like, to me, in all of those situations. It's so obvious. Like, and it would drive me crazy to have people talking to me like that all day.
I personally couldn't do it. Hey Drake, welcome. So here's how I think it goes, because a lot of the higher ups who get, like, I had a manager who, we had guys on the team, the Golden Boys, and absolutely they would compliment the mess out of her, and she'd just be, oh well, I just, and I mean, just smiling in their faces, like if they were off of work for like they would take a 2 or 3 hour lunch break, and she just, oh no, it's okay, but nobody else could do it. And I just feel like those are the people who, how to like you can butter them up and get whatever you want to get out of them. I feel like they probably don't have like a good core friends group, so they come to work to make friends possibly.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
to do, and when they're like, oh, okay, you may be my new friend, or whatever, instead of being like a better judge of character, can you do the work? I don't, your team player aspect comes in later. Are you able to do the work? If you're coachable and you get along with people, I can appreciate that. But if I just need you to do work, I don't really care how well you get along with people right now.
Yeah, as long as you don't cause any problems and you do your job, that is the bare minimum of what you should like expect from people.
Yeah.
Like when people are like, oh, well, this person stands around their phone a lot. Like my boss now, when she was just the assistant manager, she wasn't the store manager. People would say that about her all the time. If anyone like complained about her, some people would be like, oh, well, she can work when she has to. And it's like, no, she has to work all the time.
No, if you're the manager, there should always be a drawer to balance, a report to fill out, a comment to respond to. There's stuff to do. You can't just delegate everything and hope that you have. That's when you're the owner. When you're the owner, you can delegate any and everything. But when you're a manager, there's come on.
Well, like we talked about before with politics, you have a responsibility.
Yeah.
If you're a manager, or if you're anyone in any position of power anywhere, you have a responsibility. Your like slogan, or like your easiest thing to go to base any of your work on, should be that you're going to lead by example. Like,
yes.
Your people are not going to work if you do nothing. If their example of what work is you sitting around all day doing nothing, then they're going to sit around and do nothing all day. Like, you are the gold standard of whatever you're in charge of. So if you don't do anything, like, not only does that make you look bad, but it makes everyone that works there look bad, and it makes your entire store look bad, like, or company or business, whatever you are. Like, if you're a construction worker and you're the head of the team, and you just sit there on your cell phone every day, and like the porch you're supposed to be building doesn't get built because everyone else is just like, in some jobs it's more noticeable, but that doesn't make it okay in the jobs where it's not as noticeable.
Absolutely. I feel leading by example is the only way that things will effectively get done, because as a business owner, if I wanted people on my team to actually work, my team has to see me working. Yeah. And I think Beyonce made that statement. Oh, hey KK. This is my my other sister co-host. So
we're gonna talk about Superstore.
Right. Because she said, did you already record with them? Okay, did you guys talk about Superstore yet? No, we haven't talked about Superstore.
Don't worry, you guys think I'm on
Superstore. Beyonce said that there were times where she's tired, but she knows that everybody else is looking at her. So she has to push through that tiredness and work, because if she shows that she's tired, then that's going to give other people a reason to slack. And even though she said this a little while ago, I think it holds true to a lot of what I've been doing in my career. Of, if I'm leading a team, there are times you can kind of relax. You don't have to be on all the time, but essentially get your work done first, and then we can talk about extra stuff after. Maybe you're able to go home early. Maybe we got it. Maybe we can take care of whatever else. But being in finance, especially in the branches, like 3 or 4 years ago, yeah, there was no really going home, but it helped me to build a team that knew how to work. And we didn't wait until the manager came or the district manager came to visit to actually like, okay, now we need to do some work. Because then by that time, they don't know what to do. They don't know where things go. How do we restock this? How do we do this? And it's like, man.
That's every job I've ever had where it's like district's coming. So make this place look amazing. And it's like, well, if we just kept it amazing, we wouldn't have to run around like chickens with our heads cut off trying to get this place to look spotless. So like if you held these standards at all times, like we'd always look good, because that's what you're telling them when they come in and see your store looking good and running good. It tells them, oh, it's like this all the time.
No, when it came, they knew, because I would audit like every week. And typically you're supposed to audit monthly because the district managers and the actual audit people come in quarterly. So I stepped into this branch and they hadn't had people in leadership in a while. So I was like, okay, then we're going to start auditing until you guys can get it together. And we would have coachings on what audits. And so it wouldn't be a thing of, because by the time leadership came in to audit, when I had districts come in to audit, oh my gosh, this branch is great. Let me check your books. Your books are awesome. Da-da-da. I'm like, yeah, this was like 3 months worth of work that we put together. It's, oh man. But it feels really good when that recognition happens, because it's been consistent across the board. Like I absolutely appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But our next question of the night and final question of the night. When you realize you are wrong during an argument, how do you react?
I guess it all depends on how bad the argument is. I can say when it comes to my kids, like I have no problem disciplining my kids, and I will, if I need to bark, I'll bark. But if I am wrong about anything like that, I have had zero problem ever just immediately being like, oh, I'm sorry, because that, like, especially when you have a house full of kids, sometimes you don't know what's going on.
Whoa, let me get the story straight. Wait, everybody has to, let's have a seat. Let's talk about this.
Everyone starts screaming, and one thing will seem like something, so then you snip at that, and then it's like, oh no, but I wasn't doing that, I was doing that, and then you go, oh, I'm sorry. Like, and I have no issue with that. And I do try to do that in life. And I feel like a thing that is starting to like fade away, that I feel like needs to come back more, is people need to recognize when someone does admit fault. If someone realizes they did something wrong, or if you bring it to someone's attention that they did something wrong and they say they're wrong, then you need to acknowledge their apology and move forward.
Yeah.
A lot of people will be like, okay, you said sorry, but I'm still mad. And it's like, about what? What recourse do you want? What do you like? You have now created an unsolvable situation because you are just angry and bitter, and there's no recourse to what is going on. Like, you both met at the finish line, but you want to keep going on the race like it's over. Like, if someone apologizes and that's the end of the argument. If you BS it and you're like, oh, fine, I'm sorry. Well, that's a BS. If you actually go, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that I'm wrong, and I apologize. Like, that's it is what it is. And if you want to keep it going from there, I just feel like you're just kind of wasting your energy, because what are you going to do? You're just going to get to the point where they're going to say sorry again? Like, it was good enough. It was good enough the first time. I feel like a lot of things like that for a lot of people, it like bolsters it and it keeps things going, and it builds this like false sense of how something like that is supposed to go. Like,
I
so
think
yeah, go,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I think you're absolutely right. I think that especially since being around my nieces and nephews, and they I may, like you said, I may think it's one thing, but it's actually not that, um or I think my nephew was maybe like 5 or 6. And he's really like into weather patterns and stuff like that. And he was telling me about a tornado inside of a hurricane. And I was like, there's a tornado inside of a hurricane, and kind of like dismissed it. And I look it up like some weeks later, and I called him to like apologize about it, right? But I realized that that should be a standard in relationships of, look, I was wrong. I apologize. Whether you have accused someone of something, or you have dismissed something, or you missed something, or whatever the case may be, it should be a, hey, I either did not have all of the information, or I was not aware of something, or I did something or said something that made you feel negative, and I want to apologize for that. Now, when people get to the point of just like, well, because some people would be like, well, you apologize, but that's not good enough. And you ask the question of just like, okay, what do you expect me to do? Like, I'm not going to get down on one knee and kiss the ring. Like, that's not going to happen. But I did acknowledge that, what I did caused you some grief. I wanted to make up for that the way I know how to make up for it. But we're not going to get into this kind of thing of, we're not going to get into this kind of thing of where you want me to hurt as much as you hurt, or you want me to feel whatever you're feel like. I didn't intend for that to happen, and I understand that you may feel negative and what about whatever. But if your thing is to try to hurt me, how you felt in that situation or whatever, then you need to take a beat and walk away from me, because I can't deal with someone who is just hurt and wanting to hurt other people.
Yeah, and that's all it is. Like, people need to recognize that there is care in an apology. You're not apologizing for no reason. You're apologizing because you recognize somebody else's feelings. Like,
Yeah,
you're putting care into it. And for the people out there, if you have a hard time apologizing to people or admitting you're wrong, like, you just have to work on getting around that. Like, and I feel like it is one of those things where if you do struggle with something like that, the more you do it, the easier it'll become. Like, you just kind of gotta get in a groove of like breaking that cycle mentally for yourself. Because people just are. There are people that are just like, whatever happened to them in their lives, they're so high strung that when they get into like fight or flight mode, whether it's an argument or a fist fight or whatever, like, they just kind of get stuck in it. And like, once they're mad, they're mad. So like, whether they do anything wrong or not, like, the outcome is the same for them. So like, you know what I mean? Like, there are people in the world who will argue against, like, if you say the sky's blue and they say it's red, you could take them outside and point up and they could see it's blue, and they're not gonna admit.
No, I still say red.
Well, they'll say fine, it's blue. They won't admit they're wrong. They won't apologize for saying it was red. Like, they'll just hold their track. And I don't understand it. It's not a big deal to say you're sorry. It's not a big deal to be wrong. I tell my kids that all the time. I'm like, I'm wrong all the time. Like, everybody's wrong. Everybody messes up. Like, it's not a big deal. The big deal is not recognizing it, not admitting it, and not working on your ability to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Like,
true. And I mean, speaking of which, Janai says, surprisingly, I find it easier to apologize to my kids or admit that I'm wrong compared to other adults. And I think that's true. well, it used to be true for me. I think, but I can see where, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I am going off on a completely different side that you didn't even that you're not talking about, Janae. So the way that I feel about it, this statement can be true because apologizing or admitting fault or admitting that you're wrong to another adult comes with more than just I accept or don't accept your apology. There are thoughts and feelings and actions that can follow people being deceptive towards you or having a character in mind about who you are. Something there could be something flawed about your character they have in mind about you. Oh, well, if this person is admitting fault, they must be a weak person, or they may not know how to handle these types of situations. Or if they were wrong about this, they could be wrong about everything else. And so there's all these other things that can kind of complicate a relationship, whether it's professional, personal, familial, whatever. Saying that you're wrong about something doesn't exude. I mean, for me, it does. If you're able to say you're wrong about something, a lot of people see that as a sign of weakness instead of strength.
Well,
And so,
I think like the societal problem with this and why it is easier to apologize to kids is because kids haven't been like filtered through all this garbage.
yeah.
Kids don't care what other people think. So if you apologize to a child, they hear you, they understand this very basic thing of like, if you do something wrong, you say sorry, you apologize. My 2-year-old understands if she does something wrong, you say sorry. A vast majority of the population of especially this country, but now the world, cares way too much about what everyone else thinks of them. And they care way too much about telling everyone that'll listen what is going on with every single second of their life. So a lot of people's big issues with accepting apologies is that they've already talked crap about you in the situation to other people. So if they easily accept your apology and move on, whoever they talk crap about you to is going to be like, I thought you said blah, 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 blah. It's like,
I was mad. That was me before they told me that they're sorry. When did they tell you they were sorry?
Like,
what?
They apologized, and I'm a mature adult who can move on from a situation. They're just going to be like, it's more important that I look good to Stephanie than it is to accept this apology. And it's stuff like that. You know what I mean? People will go on Facebook and openly criticize their own relationship and then not and like drag out this reconciliation over an argument that's not that big of a deal because they don't want to look stupid to all the people that they trashed you to openly on the internet.
Oh gosh. I truly don't get what this culture is attempting to accomplish. I really don't. But I think that in the culture of social media, they try to do this thing of not only making the internet their diary instead of just getting a notebook and writing it on a daily basis, but when people do want a resolution, they, like you said, have talked so bad about the person, to any and everybody who will listen, that now when it's come time to apologize, you've relived the story so many times and made it so much bigger than what it is, that your apology, whether you're admitting fault and say, look, I was wrong, or I apologize, or, how can we move forward? Now you want the social media version of what happened to be atoned for.
Yeah, well, you're constantly interacting with it, so you're keeping this wound open.
Yes, exactly.
Because you're constantly having it brought back up. And also, like we said, when you apologize and people are like, I'm still mad, the reason for that a lot of the time is that people can't make their own decisions anymore. Because the answer to that would be, I don't know. And it's like, there's no reason you shouldn't know why you can't just accept my apology. And when it comes to like that on social media, people, and that's why people don't know, is that they are now like crowdsourcing their own reaction.
Yeah.
They're looking at comments, they're looking at shares and people's advice and this and that on very basic things that you should be able to make up your own mind about. And then going, well, this person says I should break up with this guy, and this person says I deserve better, and this person says work it out. What's the ratio there? What that's gonna make the best decision? And it's like, no, get off the computer, think about your life, think about the
Right.
think about how big of a deal something is, and gauge your reaction on that. A lot of people fly off the handle about things, and it's like, this is not a big deal at all. Your reaction is just to lose it about everything, and it's like, because everything has been made on Facebook and Instagram and everything else. Everything is, like we talked about in the episode, everything is the best or it's the worst.
Right. There's no in between. There's not like, oh, I just had an okay day. I had the best day of my life. I had the worst day of my life. And it's like, come on, guys. I need you to pull it together.
Yeah.
But I have absolutely appreciated this conversation. Can you tell people a little bit about your show, For Nerds by Nerds, and where to find you?
Absolutely. We're the For Nerds by Nerds podcast. We are, I like to say, a movie-centric podcast, but we talk about anything in like nerd culture. We are about to hit our 1-year anniversary next week.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah. So there is a lot of things like coming, and a lot of things are like changing, and there'll be different people. And so this year is going to hold a lot of new stuff. We're going to really, because we do like a lot of movie commentaries, and we try to do like news and reviews and stuff. It's been kind of messed up with all COVID and everything, shutting down the movie theaters. But we have new people that are more into like video games and anime and stuff like that. So we're going to be branching out more into the actual nerd culture. But yeah, we do a lot of commentaries because we find they make a good episodes. They're always around 2 hours long because the movie's around 2 hours long. And you don't even have to watch the movie because we do a lot of old movies. So you've probably already seen it. We just talk along with it and like we'll comment on the movie, or we'll just go out, branch off into conversations about what's going on, or something reminds us of something. And it's just really fun. We release episodes on Mondays and Fridays. We are everywhere podcasts are available. We are on Twitter, FMBN Podcast, and we are on Facebook and Instagram, FMBN, the number 4 and the letter U. And we also are on YouTube. We make YouTube videos, so real fun stuff there.
I forgot your YouTube. What's your YouTube?
Okay. We don't have. We need 100 followers to get a custom URL. So
everybody, make sure you go follow For Nerds by Nerds. If you go to their Facebook, Instagram, or their Twitter, you can get their link to their YouTube. Make sure you go to their YouTube and subscribe. Get them to those 100 followers so they can actually change their URL. Yeah. Listen to an episode. One of my episodes that I enjoyed was the original Ninja Turtles review. That was a pretty fun episode to listen to.
I wish I could do it again. I love that movie so much.
I absolutely enjoyed it. And hopefully Kayla and I will be able to come onto your show fairly soon, probably it'll probably be a couple months, but I'm excited to be able to come on because I have been catching up on Superstore. And I'm just like, I'm ready. Like, I have so many things that I want to talk about on it. But yes, I appreciate you. Thank you everyone to coming out and tuning in for your comments, things like that. Thank you to Janai. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Drake. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Jocelyn. And thank you, Denise. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate you for being here. Thank you, Joshua. And is that everybody in the comments? Yep. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Josh, for Nerds by Nerds podcast, of actually being on the show. Appreciate you so much. It was a really good conversation. It was a lot of fun. I was very happy to be able to finally talk to you, and we talked about a lot of things. Kayla wants you to know that she's following. But I absolutely appreciate you. Thank you all so much for tuning in to another recap of Take a Space podcast. We will see you next Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Time. And until then, make sure you take up that space and honor yourself in whatever environment that you're in and appreciate yourself. Love you guys. Bye.